On this episode, we talk about the Green Arrow at SummerSlam, shoving down the Divas Revolution, Ronda Rousey, WWE 2K16 news, up, up, down, down, and more now on Byte That. Hey gang, what's going on? You're listening to episode 103 of Byte That's Wrestling Podcast, a weekly show where we sit down and we complain, or we sometimes love that which is the WWE and maybe the rest of professional wrestling. Thanks for tuning in and checking out the show. Remember, we are available every single Tuesday night on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneRadio, ByteThat.com, and for this and tons more, head on over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ByteThatCast. My name is Juan Velez. I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and next week is going to be a big show. Big week happening, guys. But the whole staff is here. First, from Boston, Massachusetts, Ryan McNulty.
Juan,
Hi.
Thanks for having me. Truly an honor to be here.
Yeah,
Truly.
It's been a while. You know, we wanted you on the show. We got you in here.
Making dreams come true.
Yeah, wait. Keith Poshik from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada? Is that you?
Truly the biggest get is here. But you're going to have to fill me in. What's happening next week?
I don't know, just still a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's the contest that's happening, ending next week. So people, you know, if they want to submit poems, they can do that. But I want to know about you guys. What have you guys been up to?
I went and shot guns this weekend. You know how cool shooting guns is?
Nope.
Went out into the wilderness. I shot guns. I fished all weekend.
Did you shoot a bear? Did you get revenge for your attack last year?
I did not shoot a bear. Bear season does not officially begin until next week, so maybe we might be leading up to that. But no, it was good. I'm sunburnt to hell. Caught some fish, shot some guns. Got to fire off like an old 30-30 World War I lever action rifle. I had a lot of fun this weekend.
The only shooting I know is related to perks and then maybe getting a kill streak going. So that's pretty much as far as it goes.
Yes, unfortunately, no UAVs in the Canadian wilderness.
What about you, Rano?
Well, football season is beginning. The first preseason game was actually this Sunday, so I caught some of that. So I'm excited for that. And I'm trying to figure out whether Tom Brady is going to be playing in any of the first 4 games. So that's going to be revealed soon. Maybe even by the time this podcast.
Is Tom Brady the whole football like
the whole
deflate
gate business? Yeah, He could lose up to 4 games, and it's going all. They're trying to settle it before it becomes like a federal court case. So we'll see. It's still going on since February, but we're finally going to get some resolution.
As someone who enjoys football, is that just the stupidest thing ever? Because from somebody on the outside, It just seems like the dumbest
What's
thing.
normally supposed to be a $25,000 fine for having a deflated football in a game or something has turned into like this CSI investigation that's been going on.
It's crazy.
It's just been this big fight between the Patriots and the NFL, and they're just trying to drag the Patriots through the mud as much as possible because they got caught cheating before. So they're just making a mountain out of a molehill.
The Patriots.
The Patriots.
That's my Metal Gear.
Yeah. So, you know, you guys have been playing with guns and football. I've just been playing with PS2s and Wiis, and that's pretty much been my weekend. I live life to the limit. You know, I like doing that a lot. And editing. So I guess it's the same as pretty much every other week. But there's something else happened that was really awesome. I was actually catching up with it this morning. So Ronda Rousey had an AMA, of course. Those that don't know much outside of WWE, Ronda Rousey is the person that was involved in WrestleMania with Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, UFC, goddess, warrior, everything.
Baddest person on the planet.
Yeah. I mean, Ken Shamrock and Mike Tyson eat your heart out. Ronda Rousey's in the building. And
like, Ronda Rousey may legitimately eat their hearts if she has the opportunity.
No, and the thing is that Ronda Rousey, of course, at WrestleMania had the over 9,000 shirt. So some people are thinking, oh, you're just catering to pop culture. You're nothing like that. But AMA, for those that don't know, it's Reddit.com. She basically created a thread where people submit questions and she answers. And she went as far as to, at one point, she referenced a 5th generation Pokemon by name, class, ability, everything. And everybody was just flipping out. Like, some people have a hard time, going past 2nd generation. Here's UFC, fighter, super agenda filled. Oh, she can pretty much call everything.
Yeah, I mean, could she be any more likable? I think the internet just adores her at this point. I mean, she's got everything going for her right now, and she happens to just be a really cool person on top of that. And what was really most interesting, of course, is that she actually commented on potentially like a WWE run.
Yeah.
And I believe she said basically when it's all like when her fighting career is done or something, like she'd love to be a part of WWE.
Yeah, it was almost a definite yes. It's just a matter of when this is over, I'm going to go in there.
Yeah, no, I said even before the show, if I live my life to a point where I am 1/8 as badass as Ronda Rousey is, I will have lived a very good life. She seems like the coolest person ever and then just the toughest person ever, all like rolled up into one human being. It barely feels like you can even call her a human being because she's just on this whole other level of the of like everybody else. There's everybody else, and then there's Ronda. So if you haven't checked it out, yeah, go check out that AMA. She talks about her favorite Pokemon,
She talks
Dragon
about
Ball Z.
Blutista.
She talks about
She does.
Blutista. She answers the age-old question that we will not answer on this show.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. It's really hard to beat her answer. So we're talking about Ronda Rousey. We're going to get to the Green Arrow, who's also on Raw. But, you know, this Raw format continues to be happening almost for well over a year, more or less, where Raw kicks off with a promo. And it's usually around 20 minutes. And I think this was one of the Raws where every now and then it feels really obvious to me. As much as I enjoyed some of the things, I know people on social media were sort of complaining. Rollins was having his fun. I want to get your feedback, guys. Once again, 20-minute promo. What you think?
When John Cena does it, I hate it. And it turns out when anybody else does it, I still hate it. Like, it's the lowest common denominator of dumb humor, and I just wasn't a big fan of that whole John Cena. The live via satellite thing was kind of funny, like that whole inside joke. That was kind of funny, but the whole being on the Titantron, having a fake interview, I just think that's so stupid, and it doesn't even matter if Rollins is doing it or not Cena. It's just dumb.
Yeah, they're doing like the old Conan O'Brien show bit with the mouth over the picture, and it was just kind of cringy humor. I wasn't too crazy about it, so it just didn't go over too well. I don't know.
But that being said, I think Seth Rollins had the best line ever during that promo, and that he was the person that broke the face that runs the place. I love that so much.
Really, because there was actually a different line that Rollins said that I think was the best line ever. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
What line would that be? Enlighten me.
Can I say it? Can we allow this on the show? I don't think it's that bad of a swear, is it?
If you're a very sensitive listener, please earmuffs for about the next 30 seconds.
Or just sing.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just when we had Owens come out and Orton and Cesaro, he called them all a bunch of jerk offs, and I just thought that was the funniest thing ever because he definitely was not supposed to say that. But it was hilarious. And then Triple H comes out and he's like, interesting choice of words. And it's like, I wonder if he was referencing that.
Indeed.
No, and
how did you guys feel about, or...
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, sir. You can speak.
Okay, I was going to say, how did you guys feel about Kevin Owens during that segment? It seems like he was very lost. Like, he even, like, really fumbled his words when he was talking about the whole Cesaro section thing.
Because he was about to just really kill it with that line, and then he's like, WWE, yours.
I think that entire portion of the segment was really painful because, once again, we got the whole, hey, I want a title shot. No, I want a title shot. And then, guys, there's a third guy. Then he also wants a title shot. So, I don't know. Is there any way that we can solve this maybe? Triple H comes out, triple threat match. What? You know, who did not see that coming? That really got annoying to me because they've been doing a lot of things like that lately. I mean, even recently with Cesaro and all that with the U.S. Championship Challenge stuff. So I was actually really surprised at the fact that they did that with so many shows in between.
I was actually expecting a tag match, like Teddy Long tag match play with, they'd have Cesaro and Orton against Owens and Rollins or something like that. I was actually surprised that we've gotten two, albeit obvious outcomes, but two WWE Championship matches in two consecutive Raws.
No, and that's what I actually want to get to, which is we're complaining about the beginning. It's predictable, a little bit cringy, but then when it comes to the match, it's great. Everybody enjoys it. You know, it gives you what you want. But does the end justify the beginning when a lot of times we feel that cringiness? Or do you think it's justifiable?
I think it's a very yes-no answer because I don't think that predictability is essentially a positive thing. Like, we joke about it all the time. You know the beginning segment of Raw is going to be authority-related, and you know the end segment is going to be authority-related. Somewhere in between, they'll throw in a few things, but you always know what those two segments are going to be. Like, they're good, but it's almost to its detriment, the fact that it's predictable. Like, they could have a great match, but you know Seth Rollins is going to be in that match, so you almost tune out a little bit just because of that.
And here's where I'm going to come in and say, I'm pretty sure I've in the past complained like, oh, they don't just do random title matches now, and now they're doing it.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of comes down to the fact of it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So you can do the same old tired angle that everyone's seen, but if you do it really well, we're going to like it. And
but why
this opening
is it
segment
different?
Was meh. What?
But why is it different? Okay, so you've seen Seth Rollins and Randy Orton before multiple times this year already. Why is it so different now that the WWE World Heavyweight Championship is on the line?
Which is why I'm kind of...
What makes it...
It's kind of like I'm realizing something that even if you do that random title match that I'm like, they never do this anymore, it still feels the same. Because, I was watching with my roommate, I just turned to him and I'm like, 100% chance there's like a screwy finish to that title match. And sure enough...
No, and then the problem is, going back to Kevin Owens for a little bit, when it's such a standardized segment, when there's a second guy that's going to come out, when it's a third one, it takes so much out of the character that I think even if Kevin Owens hadn't fumbled the way he did, this is not doing his character any favors. Cesaro benefited from it, but then Randy, I guess, for me at least, sort of dimmed the situation a lot, especially with the fact that he was the one that won the triple threat match. I get why they did it. Apparently the rumor going around is that they don't know if John Cena is going to be 100% for SummerSlam, so they put Randy in that position so that they can maybe do a triple threat match if John Cena doesn't happen to be prepared. But even if that was the case, I would have been like, you might as well throw somebody else or just put everybody in there. But you had that crowd on fire, man, on fire with Cesaro and all that. But then Orton won. And even though the live arena reacted, you're not doing any favors with somebody that has gone down so many times. He's going up, and then Randy wins.
It just goes back to the thing that you see every week over and over and over again. Like, you've never really seen Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. You've never seen Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. But we've almost seen that, or the combination of Seth Rollins and Orton to death, even just this year once again. So it feels very disappointing from that respect.
But maybe they felt Orton is a more realistic choice to actually win the championship. So maybe they felt like it would be more suspenseful. And I don't know, I feel like the way the crowd reacted towards the end of that opening promo, the crowd seemed more in favor of Orton than Cesaro. But maybe that's just me.
No, it definitely seemed like that. And overall, we haven't even talked about that. The crowd was awesome. Like, the entire show, the Cesaro section stuff, the Sasha Banks chants, that was probably the loudest chant of the night for me.
Yeah, maybe Daniel Bryan turned Seattle into a whole new life of its own type of wrestling crowd. But
well,
yeah,
I mean,
they're
they're pretty much infamous now from that whole championship inauguration ceremony with Daniel Bryan. So they're keeping that momentum going.
But at least they're showing they get some range. They're not just all about D-Bry. They can actually be a great crowd for the rest of the show.
True.
That was an overall enjoyable Raw. I think the second hour definitely felt longer than the other two. But I want to take a quick moment and talk about the Divas Revolution. So PCB is a thing. Gotta love that nickname. Obviously, rest in peace, this mission sorority. What the hell is that? What you guys think about this? I've seen a lot of comments, and I agree wholeheartedly. If this is such a revolution, stop saying it's a revolution. They're doing that thing WWE does with the Fandangoing. It's almost a repetition of what I've said the past couple of weeks, but it's feeling stronger now.
WWE is just WWE-ing their Divas Revolution. By nowadays, it's let's tell you how to feel instead of just letting the product speak for itself. You know, what is the Divas Revolution? It's really just them calling up 3 female wrestlers, splitting everyone into teams, and then just doing matches. I mean, it's great. The roster is much better now, but is there anything really revolutionary about it? Are you changing the game? Not really. And
it's becoming formulaic, and I think that's where the problem lies. You can't have a quote revolution while something feels formulaic. Like, yes, wrestling has improved 100 times over. They're just setting a bar again. I don't think the revolution is the right word, at least.
They could have just called them up, split them into teams, done the matches, not spoke of the revolution or everything, just let them have great matches and everything. Like I said, let it's a revolution. Let it all speak for itself. Let us call it a revolution if we want to. You know, it's the same thing with, like, you know, you see a main event match of a pay-per-view and Cole's like, this is a big fight feel or whatever. It's like, why don't you just call it like it is? Call what you're seeing. Let us decide if it's got that big fight feel to it. Don't tell us that's what we should be feeling.
Exactly. And to go back to PCB a little bit, here's a fun little fact I found on reddit.com/squared circle. And that to keep going on with the name, let's say unfortunate choice of names that group has had. Apparently, the PCB is an acronym for a well-known Brazilian Communist Party. So they go from a porn site to Communist Party. And so keep them going.
Wow, never lucky. They should just be called Team, or they should be Team Friendship or something like that.
No kidding.
Just so there's just no controversy.
Or just Google names before you choose.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's rocket science, but a lot of things seemed just to not click. Like, for example, the Team Bad backstage promo. I still don't know what the hell they are. They act the exact same way the Bellas do. So how are they any different? I mean, we got Tamina wearing way too much makeup, and they're just saying, we're beautiful and dangerous. Awesome. That's literally what your shirt says. You don't have to tell me that.
And I think the biggest thing that really proves that was Becky and Charlotte on commentary last night, because that did not feel like Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Like, there was no emotion. It was super awkward. I just kind of had to take a step back and be like, what's going on here? This doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it just didn't come off very well. Becky just kind of answered things like very quickly, and then that was it. There wasn't a lot of elaborating.
Nervous laughter and that.
Yeah,
kind of
it felt like Paige was like trying to step in to kind of carry things along a little bit, but none of it works. Even the whole thing at the end, it was just like a cluster. Anytime they try and do these big coordinated brawls, it doesn't really turn out too well. And then, like, you do a brawl into a stare down. Think about that. You all beat the crap out of each other. Now you're staring at each other? Would that happen with Lesnar and The Undertaker? Were they just going to stop and stare at each other after they beat the hell out of each other? No.
Hey, now, we have a very good picture of The Undertaker.
Arrest Lesnar to get him away from Undertaker. So why...
But Ryan...
Yes.
Ryan, think about that picture that we have of The Undertaker with that crazy-ass old man stare that he has. That was in the middle of a brawl.
Exactly. It's just take some notes. That's how you do a segment. I'm not blaming the Divas. I'm sure it was coordinated by somebody else, whatever, but... things need to, if they want it to be a legitimate revolution, they definitely need to shape up.
No, and let's be honest. If this is the path that they're taking, it's going to go sour really quickly, like way before even Survivor Series. Because, honestly, breaking it down a little bit...
Do you mean SummerSlam or...
No, like Survivor Series.
Legit, okay.
Yeah, like Survivor Series, yeah. 2 S's, I know. But it is just the same thing that they were doing before, but with more familiar characters that are established, and it's simply more people. Because think about it, even that brawl, we've seen stuff like that before. We had Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks brought up to the roster. The difference is, we get a Sasha Banks chant because everybody likes her. But, okay, then what? What are you going to do with that? Is that the whole drive? Because eventually that fades away. It happened with Cesaro. It happened with Wade Barrett. Poor guy. It may happen to this. Hopefully not. But as you said, Ryan, unless they change the format, if they just take the segment number 2 and segment number 3 and then just add more things to it, What's that? How is that a
It
revolution?
needs depth.
You know what I think is hurting it personally, and this is me, smarky tinfoil hat? It's the fact that the Divas Championship hasn't been on the line once since this whole thing started. It's getting to the point where it felt very cool at first, like, okay, they're building up towards Nikki Bella, but there's been a pay-per-view and stuff in between then. Why not have at least one Divas title match to keep things interesting? I know my own answer. It's because they want to like break AJ Lee's record, but I think that's doing a detriment to this whole revolution.
And I think they want to put the focus on the teams and not on the title, which I
even
can
then,
get. But they just need to, I don't know.
But you can build the teams by trading the title between them, right?
Or even
like
reference
it's the same
title.
thing.
Like
yeah.
it is there. Like I am choosing not to defend it because it's not a priority right now. Okay, cool, justified. You at least brought it up as a character. But the fact that she comes out with the title and that's it, like at least reference the fact that you're a champion.
I mean, I think to understand this, let's just like simplify everything. We've got 3 teams and we don't know, there's no clear bad guy, good guy, which can be fine, but it's also like there's no clear motivation, because it's like, oh, we want to take down the Bellas, but then why are Team Bad trying to take out PCB? And why are those teams fighting with each other? Why are the Bellas acting like the good they're acting like faces too, even though they're supposed to be like the ones who have a handle over everything? There's no direction. We don't really know why everything's happening the way it is. We just have 3 teams fighting just because.
Keith, Ryan nailed it. He nailed it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's it.
So thank you everybody for listening to the show. But I think that's probably the best way to close that part. I want to get to what a lot of people were expecting. I was browsing Facebook during Raw, and so many people were watching that hadn't watched in years, and damn, people are negative. Like, they nitpick everything. I had to tune out for a bit.
Sounds of course, like people I know.
It's almost like we do a weekly show where we kind of do the same.
No, but at least it's not, it should go back to the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era was the best. Get over the Attitude Era.
Yeah, or
Can
something like, that stupid springboard clothesline. Why does he keep doing that? I've never heard that before.
Oh, why does this revolution have no direction? God.
These guys talk
in the
every
Attitude
week.
Era, it would have been great.
Why should you subscribe? It's stupid. All I do is talk. Anyway, so Mr. Green Arrow is going to be wrestling at SummerSlam, guys. Stephen Amell is going to team up with Amell. Yeah, I was wondering. I couldn't say his last name right, but he's going to team up with Neville to take on Stardust and Wade Barrett.
Fun little trivia thing. It was Wade Barrett's birthday yesterday. Can't even give Wade a win on his birthday.
What the hell
doesn't
happened?
even
What
deserve
was
it
that?
At this point.
Yeah, what was that last night? The whole Green Arrow part, cool. He's really athletic. I think the little things that he did there were exactly what he had to do. But Wade Barrett, am I missing something here? Did I not get a memo?
I think it's a matter of they don't trust him enough to be in a match on his own, so they need to shoehorn some form of tag match in there. So that's why, and I can't believe this didn't hit me until they said it out loud. They have the Green Arrow and the Red Arrow.
Yep.
And then I just got up and said F this and just walked away.
Yeah, I think purely because Neville happened to be feuding with Barrett a couple months ago is the reason that Barrett's involved in this. And exactly like Keith said, because they can't just put Stephen Amell in a singles match. They definitely need to set up a tag scenario to kind of protect him. All that being said, Stephen Amell was absolutely amazing. He was one of the best.
Yeah.
That's one of the best celebrity segments I've ever seen. That was just phenomenal. He just jumped over the ropes, speared the hell out of Cody Rhodes, started attacking him. Awesome.
Who?
In that backstage segment,
Who did he spear?
What?
Cody.
Who did he spear?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cody Rhodes.
Stardust.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. Anyway, the backstage segment too, he was great. The whole thing was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's you can tell the difference between a celebrity that's there to just promote something and somebody that legitimately loves wrestling.
Yeah, and basically, kind of going back to what I was saying, it's how you do something. Usually celebrity segments suck, but that was so well done. I didn't really care about that match before then, but I actually really care about it now. I'm really interested in that match.
It's one of those things where you can tell if a celebrity or just any guest is happy to be here, or be there, I should say. He tweeted out later that day that like he just doesn't want that day to end ever. So you could tell that he really, really was involved and really loved the fact that he got to do what he got to do. So yeah, just from a passion point alone, it makes me interested in that match.
Whoa.
Passion. Can you feel it?
No, after the show.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a match I'm really looking forward to. I think SummerSlam is shaping up to be an awesome show. Now, the last thing I want to bring up about Raw is that, of course, Daniel Bryan did show up. Now, he didn't really do anything about his career. He was basically there to transition to The Miz and then Ryback coming back with Big Show. So that rivalry is kicking off again. Now, Keith, you actually got to see that triple threat live. We didn't get to see that match. Now that this is restarted, are you looking forward to it?
Like I said before, if they have the same match they had at that house show that I went to, I think it's going to be a really good match. And that's about that.
Yes, Keith's got the inside info because to the untrained eye, that match seems like it's going to be a bag of suck. But hopefully
and it could easily be a
premonition.
bag of suck. It could be a bag of suck. That was a couple months ago. Ryback's been on the shelf. We don't know exactly how he's going to transition back into the ring.
Canada could have just aligned just the right way for that match to be the match of the night, and then it just never happened again. So we will have to see.
Keith, the pressure is on, sir.
No, it's not. I just made my own out, so no pressure at all.
Well,
if that
mind.
match ends up sucking, you can all curse Keith's name on Twitter.
Well,
yes.
Or you can do that without the match sucking, really.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on, we, of course, want to get to a couple of them plugs. There's a lot of stuff happening over at youtube.com/ByteThatCast. Thanks to everybody that hung out with us last Friday over at twitch.tv/ByteThat. We played some Here Comes the Pain. Ryan, he tried to get Stevie Richards through the Here Comes the Pain story. Didn't go too well, so you can actually see that this Thursday over on the YouTube channel. Remember, check out FightNight.com. The new season kicked off bi-weekly. Fight Night is our fantasy wrestling league. And then the other thing I want to get to is, of course, I reviewed Dana Bryan's book, Yes, My Improbable Journey to the Main Event of WrestleMania. Should you get it? Yes. Really great book, very motivational. I listened to the audiobook version, talked a little bit about it last week, so check it out. And then there's something else that ends in about a week, so Mr. McNulty, spice it up, go.
That's right, our SummerSlam poetry contest. You still have 1 week left if you want to enter to win a $30 Amazon gift card. There's going to be one lucky winner. We'll also be reading 2 honorable mentions in addition to the winner on the podcast next week. So you have until the end of August 16th Eastern Time, so 11:59 Eastern Time, August 16th, to get your submissions in to bytethatcast@gmail.com and put the subject SummerSlam Poetry if you want to enter it. The poem has to be WWE related. It can be funny, serious. Just show your creativity, and those will be read on the August 18th episode.
Now, something I'm not looking forward to too much is, of course, revealing my poem at the end of the show, but I gotta feel the power of
the bar is high, my
positivity.
friend.
Yes, it's been 3 weeks in the making. I kind of didn't sleep within the past week trying to come up with this. I don't know. You guys will let me know at the end of the show how that's going to turn out. But something I do want to mention is the New Day. Now, I keep loving these guys so much. And Big E this week just knocked it out of the park. I wish I could dance like him. And how come we never got the tag team of Norman, Smiley, and Big E? That needed to happen.
You were the only person in the world that would ever ask that question.
No.
Yep.
No.
But
New
those
Day is
hip
amazing.
gyrations, though.
Man.
I mean, really, Norman Smiley must hate Big E because the Big Wiggle is now, like, completely
Big E
irrelevant.
wiggle.
The Biggie Wiggle. The Biggie Wiggle. I like that.
I think the thing about the New Day is just that you can tell that they are having so much fun doing what they do that just translates through the screen. And that is why they've just become they've become one of the least enjoyable things to one of the most enjoyable things.
Absolutely. It just shows that if you let somebody... Do you think that they get free reign on what they do, or do you think that's actually scripted, the whole New Day stuff?
I think there's probably a lot of stuff that's completely them. And also, for anyone that's interested, I believe last Friday's edition of Chris Jericho's podcast, or maybe the last Tuesday's edition, actually.
Tuesday, I believe,
was an interview with the New Day where they talk about everything that led to the New Day kind of becoming what it is today, including that time where, Xavier Woods showed up. They were all like dressed in suits and stuff, and they were
trying to watch that.
We thought it was going to be like the Nation of Domination. We even did a video about it, and then they just disappeared for months, and then they came back as the New Day that eventually transformed into what we know. So you can actually hear all about what happened during that time. So it's really cool.
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm. But what I was getting at is, like, you give somebody a little bit of free reign and you let them do something that they enjoy, and just magic happens from it. And I think the New Day is the shining example of that.
Exactly. You let people be themselves with the volume turned up, and great things happen.
No, case in point is Xavier Woods' YouTube channel. I mean, WWE has something so awesome happening with the New Day, where on TV they're entertaining, whether you like them or hate them. And the crowd on Raw, I think, was a really good indication that you can have the best of both worlds. There was the part of the crowd that hated them because they were obnoxious and that's their job. And there was the other half that loved them because they were obnoxious and it made you hate them, so you loved them.
Do you think the New Day is getting close to that John Cena level of, like, let's go Cena sucks?
That would be amazing.
Was the Seattle
almost
crowd
in
saying
reverse.
New Day rocks?
Yeah, there was a part saying New Day rocks, yeah. Think about that.
It's come around.
New Day equals John Cena.
If you're a face, you're a heel, and if you're a heel, you're a face. That's just the way it is nowadays.
Yeah, and then with Xavier Woods, it's easily the most awkward example, I guess, because on TV he's supposed to be a bad guy or annoying, but then he has Up Down Down. For those that don't know, Up Down Down is his video game channel. He's a huge gamer to the point where he's won Mario Kart tournaments. He has a bunch of stuff. So with this channel, beating a bunch of kids, it was a hilarious picture. That was the first time I ever found out who Xavier Woods was. Just a picture of Mario Kart Double Dash in his hand with a trophy. You can't make that up. So then in the channel, he does a bunch of stuff. He plays video games with wrestlers. There's a video with Seth Rollins, Cesaro. He's got the whole staff in there, but he also has videos with video game journalists, video game people like Kind of Funny Games, IGN, and all that good stuff. And by the way, so at first we thought this was like an organic thing, Xavier Woods started this channel on his side, but then Ryan sort of spoiled Santa Claus for me.
See, I'm gonna disagree with you. Like, the second it showed up on the WWE channel, that became blatantly obvious to me that this is like, okay, this is the WWE reaching out to that. Because if Xavier Woods was doing it on his own, it wouldn't be this big, it wouldn't be on the corporate YouTube channel. So you can't speak for me, sir.
Well,
Yeah, but what we're referring to is that during WWE's quarterly conference with like investors and all that, they mentioned that Up Down Down is basically their way of reaching out and targeting like the video game crowd. So it kind of surprised everyone because everyone just assumed it was Xavier Woods screwing around, which it still probably was how it kind of is. That's still kind of how it came to be. But I think WWE kind of realized what was going on, and they saw an opportunity there and probably put more resources into it, which is cool because it still has a very organic feel, even if, the corporate machine is backing it a little bit more than they were before.
And if you're one of the people that hasn't checked out Up Down Down yet, I can't recommend enough starting with his Gamer Gauntlet series. It is the funniest / best thing that I've seen on that YouTube channel in a very, very long time. By that, I mean the WWE's YouTube channel. Basically what it is he gets a bunch of superstars together and they have tournaments that end up having repercussions for the last place person. Like they did a Street Fighter tournament where the person that ended up in last place got pelted by tennis balls from everybody else that was in the tournament. And the latest one that featured video game journalist Dan Reichert from Giant Bomb has the loser eat a hot dog covered in mayonnaise.
Lather.
It is There's just so much mayonnaise everywhere. And honestly, it's one of my favorite video series, I would say, on the internet at this point, the Gamer Gauntlet.
And it goes to show, like, even if it's a WWE corporate idea where they know it's going to reach out to gamers, it's fun. I love it. And if anything, it's made guys like the Usos more likable for me.
If you really think about it, and this is going to be a weird thing, it's almost the opposite of the Divas Revolution, where they're letting us believe that this is a real thing. They're not shoving it down our throats. Like, yes, it exists and it's in this corporate thing, but it's just this own thing that's organically growing by itself that they don't have to remind us, like, hey, you can check out Xavier Woods' YouTube channel every single week.
Also, it's just kind of shows the difference in generations of wrestlers, whereas, like, 15 years ago, a lot of the wrestlers, when they weren't doing the show, would probably be out partying and drinking. And now we've got guys hanging out in an arcade doing ping pong tournaments.
Let's play Minecraft, guys.
Playing video games and all that. And it's really cool because there's so much supplemental content for WWE, and there's pretty much something for everyone.
Yeah, so once again, go over there. Let us know which is your favorite video. The Soul Calibur mayonnaise video with the Giant Bomb, Dan Riker, is really good. So once again, youtube.com/up, up, down, down. Now, since we're on the video game topic, I want to get to a little bit of a WWE 2K16 news. Now, this is very surprising because usually we get a piece of information like we did last week, and then we don't hear anything else for essentially till the week before the game. Yeah. But now, IGN confirmed that on a weekly basis, every single Monday, they are going to be having a roster reveal. Keep in mind, the roster is supposed to be 120 unique people. So that doesn't include like Mick Foley, Dude Love, Mankind. Mick Foley is one out of that 120. So Mankind and Cactus Jack, hypothetically, would put them over that amount, actually. So the people announced are, some are obvious, Booker T, Colonel Mustafa, that one's out of nowhere. I believe he was
Obvious.
DLC last year. Yeah. Emma, Eva Marie, who was confirmed. She, kind of spoiled it on social media and then deleted it. General Adnan, Kalisto.
Obvious, once again.
Exactly. Kalisto, Kane, Lord Steven Regal, not William Regal. So once again, maybe going back to that DLC vault. Sin Cara, Summer Rae, Tamina, first video game appearance, I believe, and Triple H. So obviously a lot of the stuff, guys, we expect to see revealed. They posted a video on Kalisto's entrance. Go to IGN, just check out WWE 2K16, search it there. He looks awesome. A ton of screenshots. Did you guys see how Sin Cara, how they all look?
I thought Kalisto looked kind of weird, like he was almost wearing a mask on top of his mask. It looked a little weird.
That is how he comes out, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah, he wears two masks, and then he takes the mask off to reveal his mask.
Oh.
Yes.
Both of them look good. I mean, Sin Cara's got his new tattoo, so it all looks great.
Old Sin Cara has been erased from history, but I hope that Lord Steven Regal's theme is in that game. The whole "he's a man" from the early days. I can hope and pray.
Well, I think it's maybe WCW Regal, so that may not be happening.
No!
Now, for those that are hoping that Creed Story is going to be in the game, it does not look like it. There was an interview that came out of Gamescom, and basically they say that Create a Show is a way to modify show graphics and stuff like that. So like the name bar, the entrance. So you can modify that, not just create, not just place things around, but it's not the create a story mode. And considering that they've announced pretty much every feature, I doubt that's just going to magically happen, which for us, if you're like Fight Night and all that stuff, we are sort of crying because we needed that.
Create a show, otherwise known as Bull S, is basically what I'm saying. Because it just, I feel like create a show's this pointless. We all want create a story. We didn't get it, but we'll see what happens.
Always next year.
We're just bitter because of Fight Night. I'll just put it that way.
Like the matches themselves look like they're going to be pretty awesome if they execute what they want to do properly. But Fight Night, man, no. So stay tuned to our weekly WWE 2K16 roster reveal that's going to be happening here after it happens in IGN. So until next time, there's a poem happening, but before the poem, let's build it up. I don't want to build my poem up. But Keith, take it away with the questions.
Yes, Juan, we have questions this week, and if you want to send us a question, you can send it to Byte That Cast on Twitter, on YouTube, on the emails, on the Facebooks, everywhere. And, just to help us out a little bit, when you're asking a question, make sure to use the hashtag AskBT. AskBT hashtag.
We got some hashtag Ask Byte That's, but if you do BT, it gives you more character.
You know what? I'm gonna take full responsibility for that, for not knowing our own hashtag. I may or may not have tweeted out to use Ask Byte That. Don't listen to the crazy Canadian, then listen to the crazy Canadian now and use Ask BT as your hashtag.
And forever. Go on.
Forever. Then, now, forever. Our first question comes in from NKBE1324, otherwise known as Juan's Boy. And he asks, if you had to choose one relevant person to be released from the WWE, who would it be and why?
So, obviously, you don't want somebody to lose their job. But I was thinking about this and I was like, who's someone who, because we've seen people get released and then thrive when they've left. So, who's someone who's not getting their due right now, who's probably better off elsewhere? I think that man is Wade Barrett. I think he might be better served, maybe Ring of Honor or some other, indie promotion where he just can be who he needs to be, because that guy is a loaded talent who's just being completely underutilized.
For me, it has to be probably Dolph Ziggler. Wade Barrett is definitely option number one, because we've poked fun of Dolph Ziggler's character, but I think at the same time, he's become such a WWE thing that I would love to see, what is Dolph Ziggler outside of that? You put Dolph Ziggler in a Ring of Honor ring. Will you put Dolph Ziggler in Lucha Underground? What does that look like? I have no idea, and that's why I would love to see it happen.
I've said for years that Zack Ryder is going to have a hell of a shoot interview one day, and in order for that to happen, he needs to not really be with the company. So I'm going to go with Zack Ryder.
Just a quick note, by the way, I found out before the show that CJ Parker, who is in NXT, is actually going to be retiring from pro wrestling on the 28th, I believe. So there's that. Just wanted to throw that out there.
May his career rip in pepperoni. Now, thank you for the question. On to the next one. That theme, though. The next question comes from Barnaballs on Twitter, Barney Johnson, and he asks, of Samoa Joe, Luke Harper, and Kevin Owens, who is the least athletically talented? I'm going to say they're all great, and I'm going to say none of them. I'm going to cop out this one.
Now, are we saying in their prime or currently? I'm assuming currently.
Let's just go with currently.
Yeah, let's just go with currently.
I guess, although I'm afraid of what it'll do to me, I'm going to say Samoa Joe. Just because maybe he's doing, the least amount of dives and stuff. But even then, he still does them. Yeah, because, Kevin Owens doing moonsaults and stuff. I can't really say he's the least. And Harper's, I don't know. Maybe Harper? It's tough.
Harper's Luke Harper. He doesn't need to do that stuff. He will just rip your head off.
And he has been doing some stuff in main event.
Harper's in generally just better shape as physically. I guess I'll say Samoa Joe and hope he doesn't kill me.
Yeah, I guess I'm dying too, because I got to say Samoa Joe. Maybe Samoa Joe in his prime, but when Kevin Owens does the Senton Bomb or a moonsault or something, he makes it look easy. Like, he does not weigh the same amount he does. Like, when he does the cannonball, Samoa Joe in NXT, or at least recently, you can tell there's thickness. He's a heavy guy, and he doesn't have the mobility that he had in Ring of Honor. That thickness. Yes. Keith, take the question now.
Get that thickness. Get it good.
Thick.
But on to the next question from Matt.
Keith, did you answer?
I already said I'm not answering. I think I copped out. They're all in great athletic shape and could kill all three of us if it was a fight. Like 3v1, we would all die.
We get a chance, man. Come on.
Next question comes from Matt W, and he asks, now that it has become so popular, do you guys think that NXT needs a secondary title?
Yes. It really does.
Really?
Yep. Not for the obvious reasons, but like right now, look at what's happening. Kevin Owens was the champion. He went up to the main roster, and then it became this awkward situation of, oh, you're the champion, but the show's kind of pre-taped sometimes, so you can tell when the show's changed to sort of accommodate some things. And that's hurt. Like right now, Finn Balor's the champion. You know he's not losing it till that show. It's become such a predictable title that having a second one that the champion is somebody that you know is not going to move on up to the east side, you know, he doesn't want that piece of the pie yet. So it makes perfect sense.
That is a tough situation because NXT, you know, it's the developmental. So if a guy's doing really good, yeah, they want to make him champion. But if he's doing so good, they want to move him up to the main roster. So it can create a problem. So I can see why that would help have a more consistent title. But at the same time, it's still like a 1 hour weekly show. So it may be a little harder to fit that, but it's certainly possible. And I think Juan kind of makes a good point that it can just be a consistent title with a consistent champion.
See, I find it interesting because, Juan, I agree with you, but I agree with you on the opposite side of the argument. Because I think if NXT had another if it had another championship, I don't know where I got channel from, but
we have one.
If they had that second championship, wouldn't that just blow that whole problem, like double it, pretty much blow it out of proportion? Because now you don't have just the one title, you have the two that you have to like almost work appearances around just so you don't break continuity.
I agree. So I think the question is not so much adding a second title, is what is your show? Make up your mind. If it's developmental, then give me the Daniel Bryan's book. I need to quote something quickly. He basically references the fact that when he was at the top at the Ring of Honor food chain, it was because he was committed to that. And that needs to happen with NXT. You can't have the champion now just be some random guy. Bo Dallas was, odd to even think of as a champion, but he was a champion for a while. Same thing with Neville. And they have lengthy title reigns, but now it's becoming a blur. It's just a transitional championship.
But the thing that I even just kind of like about NXT is the fact that NXT isn't really about the championship. The only thing that the championship really tells you in NXT is, oh, this is probably going to be the next guy that gets called up. And that's kind of the long and short of it. NXT is more about the feud of it's more about Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens and not them feuding over the NXT championship, if you know what I mean. And I like that about NXT. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from J4 Gaming. Hi, J4, how are you? And he asks, now that it's been a good while, what are your overall impressions of the WWE Network? Is it genuinely worth spending money on?
100%. I pretty much only watch it for the pay-per-views 99% of the time. And of course, when there's the podcast, like the Stone Cold podcast and stuff, I don't catch NXT as much as I'd like to, but I always make sure that I watch the specials. And just those three things alone are 100% worth the money.
Yeah, it's a great safety net that when you're bored, or for example, in my case, I like to do DDP yoga on my tablet, which means I have, my TV is available for anything else, and I'll usually watch either NXT or, I'll catch the first part of an old pay-per-view and then watch the second half. And then the fact that instead of spending $60, we spend just the $10, the $9.99, without a shadow of a doubt, it's worth the money.
Yeah, and just the exclusive content. I file all the content of the WWE Network into two categories as far as I'm concerned. It's the exclusive content that I really enjoy, like the swerves, the WWE 24s, which, by the way, they don't do enough of those WWE 24s. I would like to see that. If they had a new one every day, I would be happy, pretty much. And then there's the nostalgia part of the WWE Network that I love. Like the other day, I just felt like, you know what? I'm going to go watch some Chris Jericho circa WCW. And I could just go on the network and look that up, and boom, there it is. I could see all of Chris Jericho's crazy WCW promos and just have fun with that. So I think there's a lot of value in the WWE Network. And if you really grew up watching all that stuff, I think it's more than worth the money just to go back and relive that. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Jack A on YouTube, and he asks, if you could pick anyone from the Fight Night roster to face someone in the WWE, who would it be And would they win?
I think the first thing we have to say is, Jack, we love you. The second one, I completely forgot the guy that I was going to say right now. So I'm going to... Ryan, who's your guy?
All right, I'll jump in since Juan's just struggling for options
I had my pick.
All right,
Damn.
dream matchup here. Because I'm going to pick a fan favorite. May he rest in peace. But I think a dream match that I guess can't happen anymore would be Banana Bread, the Ultimate Banana Bread versus Feed Me More, Mr. Ryback. Could Ryback resist eating Banana Bread, and can Banana Bread stop Ryback from eating him? Could be a great match. And I think Banana Bread would win, of course.
Of course. I mean, is there any doubt about that? I think probably the legendary feud that so many people have been clamoring for, especially at WrestleMania. You know, The Miz had a WrestleMania match, a main event. This is somebody that was, made fun of, real world, all these things. And there's a guy in Fight Night that continues to be made fun of despite the fact that he's only had 2 matches. You know, this guy came out. He is the only guy on our YouTube channel to call Dana White out on the things that he said about negative things about pro wrestling. What?
Didn't I call him out?
Yeah, actually, there's 2 people on.
No. You didn't go to a ring. You didn't go to the lengths that Chicken Shiat, okay? Because we're a clean pot. Chicken Shiat went out there and called him out. Chicken Shiat and The Miz have so much in common. You know, maybe not the wife, because one's beautiful and the other one's a hen. But then the fact of the matter is, people need to see that match happen. Think of the promos, Ryan. Think of the promos.
I don't want to.
No, neither do I. And for my pick, as your Fight Night general manager, I would like you to know that my pick is completely unbiased and has no, let's say, hint of favoritism in it. But the person I would like to see fight a WWE superstar is none other than the man, the only man in Fight Night that can trend on the drop of a hat, Mr. Jason Trendset. I would like him to see him go 1-on-1, mono-a-mono with Zack Ryder. King of the Internet Championship can come home where it rightfully belongs, and that is with the Trendsetter himself.
You actually put him in a match. He's in action next week. You did that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Keith, you go along with the story.
I know. Don't worry.
Just go quick. Next question.
Okay. Next question comes from Joe K on YouTube, and he asks, am I the only one who wished Jeff Hardy would come back?
Yes.
Yep.
I'd like to see Jeff Hardy come back.
Yeah, I'll answer seriously. I feel like Jeff Hardy, I think he's a great talent. I think he did pretty much all he could do in WWE. And he's still is he still on the shelf with the broken leg? Or?
He's been doing a lot of appearances. I know Matt Hardy's been doing most of the wrestling, but I know he's going to shows. Like, he's been involved with Global.
Yeah, I'll put it this way.
Wrestling.
Like, I love Jeff Hardy was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, and I never in my wildest dreams imagined that he'd ever become WWE champion. So the fact that he had as much success as he had was amazing, and it's cool that he's still wrestling, but I don't think there's too much left for him to accomplish in WWE.
Yeah, I honestly just feel like Jeff Hardy did everything that he could possibly do. What would having Jeff Hardy come back accomplish? It almost feels a lot like Rob Van Dam and his comeback, and I don't know. We've seen what happens from that already. Why do it again?
I think that there is enough talent not in the WWE that could come back and have something similar, like a one-night stand pay-per-view, where for one night it can be, the equivalent guys. So Jeff Hardy could face somebody like Neville, just somebody that people can relate to past and present, just to sort of officially pass that torch. And we've never had a show dedicated to that. We've had, SummerSlams with like Nexus against the WWE, but not a show titled something that, this is happening one night. This is not going to be a storyline thing. They're coming back. they're having this match, and they're moving on.
Almost like another one-night stand,
exactly.
but more wrestler-related than company.
I think it'd be really cool. And with the network, that's how you pull a lot of people in. Think of like, a Team 3D coming in, maybe the Hardy Boys. You can have those tag team scenes, but then you can even have like a Kurt Angle somehow happen. Things are bad in TNA, so it could happen.
That's an interesting idea. I never thought of that, but I think I would like to see that. So thank you for the titillating thought. And our final question comes from True Prince of Pro, and I think he asks a good one. I like this question. And it is, one thing the WWE does very well is career retrospective documentaries. Some of his favorite documentaries are on people like John Cena, Edge, Triple H, CM Punk, ECW, and the Four Horsemen. What he wants to know is, what are some of our favorite WWE documentaries? And if the WWE could do a documentary on any wrestler, who would you want them to do it on? Personally, he'd love to see a Miz documentary, and he feels that Miz has a great story and a very unique career.
I'll start out by saying I love pretty much all the documentaries WWE's done. Definitely within like the last 6 to 7 years, they've been just completely top notch. So it doesn't even matter who it's on most of the time because I will enjoy it. I'm not the biggest fan of The Big Show, but I loved Big Show's documentary. Jericho's was awesome. Batista's was great. Some of my favorites are definitely CM Punk's and Paul Heyman's, and those happen to also be more recent ones. Triple H's was great too. They're so polished and so interesting. I really like them. Who I would like to see them do a documentary of? I don't believe John Cena has gotten a proper documentary yet, if I'm correct.
No.
And I think that's going to be very, very interesting when that comes out. So that would definitely be my number one pick.
My selection is actually not a person, and there's like a 2% chance WWE would ever do something like this. How many things have we had about the Monday Night War? Countless. But we've never had a legitimate documentary talking about the transition of ECW and WCW guys in WWE. We've had stories, and there's been like, so the ECW guys came in WWE, but let's be honest, I want to know what actually happened, like the backstage situation. I want to have Vince McMahon sitting down and be fed the question, did you at any point see the invasion as a thing where WCW and ECW look good in any way? And point out specific examples, because that is such a key point. People talk about the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era was irrelevant. What really mattered was the transitional point where people phased out. Why? We've brought it up in the podcast. Those audience members, that people, they never came back to see wrestling. Ratings don't lie in that sense. So I think if we got some clarity, I wanted to drive them out of business, and I put these guys in here to make them look like crap, so that the WWE guys will look good. And I make The Rock a WCW champion just to make fun of the fact that he was never in WCW, yet he became their champion. It's a bunch of stuff that I would love to see, and there's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah, because that's a very interesting idea, because that's essentially the turning point of the wrestling industry. It is when it went from growing to falling, and it's never stopped falling since.
Because think about how many times we've heard, so we had the last show on Nitro and nobody backstage knew what was happening. We hear that part all the time, and the part of the WWE roster reacting. But what about the business portion? Not just, we bought them out. Let's be honest. Business is about money. And then you had this terrible storyline that nobody bought because nobody bought it. And the ending was horrible. 2001 Survivor Series, let's be honest. Who thought WCW was actually going to win? Nobody.
Yeah.
Yep. Huh. It got dark there. So thank you, True.
It got real dark, but yeah, no, for my answer, I can't add on to anything that wasn't already said about current documentaries. I think some of the examples Ryan gave are some of my favorites. I include the rise and fall of ECW in there as well. I think that is my personal favorite. But the documentary I would like to see the most, honestly, is The Undertaker. Just start to finish, Undertaker telling his story. Even if it's in a kayfabe sense, where they just talk about what was going on with the Undertaker character. I would love that. I'd love that so much.
No, that would be the best thing, especially when he goes into the Hall of Fame. And I actually didn't answer the first part. For me, favorite documentary has to be Rise and Fall of ECW. The CM Punk documentary was incredibly well put together. But the Rise and Fall, you saw the hunger. You saw the reason that we got the Attitude Era, that we got a lot of stuff. And it was because of that desire, a lot of the desire that's not there in wrestling today. You know, and of course, there's a ton of danger, concussions. That's another topic. But just seeing that as somebody that didn't really watch ECW when it was a thing was really mind-opening.
Indeed. So now we have some last minute business to take care of, don't we?
So thanks everybody for listening to the show. We will be back next week. What?
It's time. It's time. It's poetry time.
Oh man. Okay, so here we go.
Hold on. There it is. There's that smooth jazz. All right, we got to get that mood set.
Okay, people. So week 1, it was Mr. McNulty. Week 2, it was Keith Poshik knocking it out of the park. Week 3, I just blow the whole building down. So here we go. My poem is about the person that people love in our channel. When they read them comments, it is about All Red Everything, Eva Marie. Here we go.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
When Eva Marie came to the scene, it was a beautiful sight to see. All Red Everything, a total diva she would be. A total diva signifies beauty and skills, but her first match on TV only left many wanting to kill. But much like Santa Claus, the charade came to an end. The match was terrible. Even her snapmare was a nightmare. Yes, I know that rhyme was really weak, but at least it was better than her sliced red on NXT. There's still hope though, for Spanky is teaching her the ways. Pretty soon she'll be flying high, 420, and almost one of a kind. Let's be real though, we want her to succeed, to climb the ladder and grab that brass ring. Dana Brooke, she wishes she was like Eva, the true total diva. She'll be champion in the Hall of Fame way before AJ Lee skips down again. Visionary, extraordinary. Do these words describe Eva Marie? It doesn't matter what we think. Haters will keep hating, and Team Red will live longer than PCB. That's it. Did it. I got through it. Yep. That was it. That was the build-up. You guys okay? Come on. What? What?
That was a thing.
It happened. It happened. I tried.
I think it was appropriate for being about Eva Marie. I think it was
was there like some serious meta commentary going on?
It was a very Eva Marie level poem.
Let's put it this way. There is another version that I wanted to do, but that version there is no way I could actually write that and say it on the show without it just being blank. So this is the clean version of that, what that would have been.
But hey, Eva Marie, we owe a lot to her. There is a legion out there of people who love Eva Marie and gave one of our earliest videos a lot of views because we hated on her. So Eva Marie is an important part of Byte That History, and Juan, that was a lovely poem.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Hashtag all Byte That everything.
Now, that being said, we have set the tone. These poems have been thrown out there, but it's not about us. It's about the people sending the poems. We've gotten a ton of submissions. We've actually probably exceeded our expectations. So, seriously, you still have time. ByteThatCast@gmail.com. Send the poem with the title SummerSlam Poetry. You have until August 16th at midnight to submit the poem, and then the winner will be announced on the August 18th. That is a Tuesday night edition of the podcast. And by the way, remember, you get a $30 Amazon.com gift certificate. You must be from the USA, UK, or Canada to enter. And then, just make us cry. Make us feel the emotion that I probably did not insert into you.
Don't be inserting anything into our fans. Jesus.
No, I'm married. So, Mr. McNulty, just close out the show, man.
All right, I think it's that time, guys. So we want to thank everyone for tuning in to another edition of the Byte That podcast. As Juan said, we can't win that poetry contest, so get your submissions in before 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, August 16th. After that, we aren't accepting, that is the word I was looking for. We aren't accepting any more submissions after that time, and we will announce that August 18th. Remember, win a $30 Amazon gift card. Of course, head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ByteThatCast. This Thursday, we're going to be putting up the highlights from when I played Here Comes the Pain this past weekend. I started a career as Steven Richards, and it went about as good as you think it went. And you should check it out because it actually it was a really fun time.
Yeah, and there's going to be some Fire Pro gameplay too.
Yes, Fire Pro gameplay as well, which Juan played. So good times to be had. Of course, you can contact us on social media by going to on
Where?
Twitter. It's @ByteThatCast. You can send us an email with your questions in that poem.
Whoa.
By going to bytethatcast@gmail.com.
That's an email.
We're on Wrestling Amino under Byte That. Instagram, we got Byte That.
Pictures.
So much. Everything else, you can go to bytethat.com. So we will be back for our SummerSlam Go Home Show podcast, SummerSlam contest announcement.
Internet required.
Yes, podcast Byte That, craziness, SummerSlam, all that
Look
next
at the
week.
adjective.
Exactly. Note the
He's
adjective.
got a bicycle.
Play. All right, we'll see you next week. I'm going to shut up now. See you.
Bye.